Hi, in this video we're going to be talking about an app you could use to manage items that you copy and paste. So when I say items you copy and paste, it can mean files, text, images, videos, things from websites, and that type of thing. So it's called a Dropshelf. So they have a free version, and then they have a pay-for version, which I think is $4, with the main difference being that with the free version you have to wait 3 seconds before dragging new items into your shelf, which is not a big deal. All right, so you could get it from the Microsoft Store. So just do a search for Dropshelf, look for this icon, look for this developer, and either click on Get or Install, depending on what your button says. And then once it's running, it'll be down here in your system tray. You can click on it, and you can view your various shelves, so you could have more than one. And if you click on this button here, it tells you what the differences are. So it removes the 3-second waiting time. You could customize your shelves with the name and color, and then support development for frequent updates. Then you could add a new shelf from here, delete your shelf, go to the settings. So you could have it run on startup. You could have items automatically copied, be sent to the shelf, which you probably don't want on because you probably don't want everything you copied to be placed on your shelf there. And then you have some options for the tray icon and the appearance. And then you have some shortcuts you could use as well. So this shake mouse to open new shelf, works pretty well depending on what you're trying to copy there. And then where you want the shelf placed, the type of view, the color, and then close it when emptied. All right, so let's try it out here. So let's say we go to our Documents folder here. So let's say we want to have this image on our shelf. We could click on it and shake it. So you can see it's not perfect when it comes to the shaking, and then you can just drag it here. So now that file is here, and then also the image. So let's say we want to take this file, put it in a different folder. We could just drag it out of our shelf. So that'll move it into there. Now let's try that again. All right, so now, instead of dragging it to move it, let's right-click, copy. Now we could paste the file there. So if you want to move it out of the shelf, you could drag and drop it. If you want to copy, you could just right-click on it. And if you have more than one item in your shelf, you could get to it from here, which we'll get to in a second. All right, so now let's go to a Word document here. So like this, for example, you can't drag into your shelf. You can see it doesn't do anything. But if we take some text here, highlight it, we could drag that into our shelf. Now you can see we have our text and our image there. So now let's go to a blank document. All right, so now you can see if we drag it in there, it looks like it's going to move it, but it's not because it can't move it into a Word document, it can only copy it. And you can also right-click on it and copy and paste it. So if we do this, you can see it's still in our list here. Now we can put our cursor down here, let's say. And then we copied our text from the other Word document that was stored here. All right, so now let's go to, let's say, a PowerPoint slide. And you can see here, if we try and move this image, it doesn't. It just moves it within PowerPoint. And if we highlight this text here and move it, you can see it removes it from PowerPoint. So that's kind of a weird little glitch there. So if you come across that situation, you could just right-click, copy, or Control-C, and then paste it in here. And now we have our text in here as well from the PowerPoint slide. If we copy this picture here, paste that in there, you can see that didn't work. So PowerPoint doesn't seem to work as well as some of the other apps. So let's go to Excel now for a different example here. So we can't drag and drop because it'll just move the cells around. So we could copy this. Let's do Control-C this time, and then paste that in there. So now we have the data from Excel in here. So that worked. So if we copy this, let's see if we could drag that actually. We're actually able to drag and drop the contents of the cells into a new worksheet there. All right, so now let's move over to a web page. Let's say we want this car image here. We could drag that in there. So now that's in our list. Same with the text here. Now that's in our list. Let's go back to Word here. I know I'm jumping around quite a bit, but that's what you got to do when you're demonstrating this. Now we could just drag this out, put our cursor where we want the text, and put it right there, just like that. So as you can see, this comes in handy if you have a lot of items that you're going to be using on a regular basis. You could just keep them in your shelf here and then use them as needed. All right, so now let's try multiple files, for example, here. Let's try these 4 pictures here. All right, so now you can see we have these all in here. Now watch what happens if we delete Beach 6, for example. You can see it took it out of our shelf because it's no longer there, so obviously you can't move or copy it. And if we undo to put it back, it's not going to go back there, so you'd have to drag it back into your shelf here. And then, of course, you could come here and let's say we wanted all of these beach pictures in this folder. Just move them out or copy and paste them. All right, and then if your shelf is getting too full, you could come here, make a new shelf, and then do the same thing. And then you could just toggle back and forth between your shelves. So let's say we close these out here, and we come back here, and they're still there, and you could just open up the ones you want. So now let's try to reboot and see if they stay because it's set to run when Windows starts. So let me close all of these here. All right, so now we'll do a restart real quick. So we'll be right back. All right, so the computer's been restarted. It took a minute or so for everything to load up. So we have our drop shelf loaded here. And you can see we have all of our items that were saved. So that's a good sign right there. And then, of course, you could still open it from your apps as well if it's not running down here. All right, so once again, just do a search for Dropshelf in the Microsoft Store, install it, and then try it out and see how you like it. And if you really like it, you could support the developer and buy the Pro version for $4. All right, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.